Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Michaela and I'm going today to do a new pattern. It's a bottoms pattern, but I do have as well a top prepared for it, and let me present you the pieces. So I'm going to start with my front piece. It's a high waist bottoms, and what is cute about it is I have created some really nice ruffles for it, which they go from the front piece towards the back piece. And as you can see, it's not a straight line. It's actually kind of a spiral, right? So it goes kind of like from the front, goes all the way to the back, almost until the end. Starts from the front, not really low, but like somewhere here, right? And optional, I've created as well that it has some beautiful ruffles also here in the front. These are kind of like the shorter ones, the shorter ruffle. They'll be longer and the shorter. So I've got that going on, and well, really I'm so excited about this project, as I'm gonna have it for my pole dance collection, and I think it's gonna look very cute. So I've got here the front piece, how it will look like, right, with the ruffles added, and this is my main fabric, and here is the lining. And the back piece, as you know, it's already a signature of my mark. I'm making this cheeky Brazilian. I will be offering as well different different other coverages, a thong, a normal cheeky, and a full coverage. But since this is my best-selling coverage, I actually will be showing this. The only difference is that I am sewing this middle part. So if you do not have if you do not choose to have one of these, you do not choose this coverage, and you choose another coverage which is obviously made of one piece, then you just follow the step coming after, since the construction is exactly the same. So this is my main fabric, this is my lining of my back piece, and I've already shown you the ruffles, and here is the waistband already prepared. So that being said, I'm going to start with the first step of the construction, and that would be placing the back pieces one part on top of each other, facing the right side of the fabric together, and I am pinning in the center, like kind of like where it will be between the bum area, kind of. I don't know how to call it, right? So yeah, Brazilian cheeky is slightly cheekier than a normal cheeky, but not a thong really. So yeah, that's the look on it. So I'm preparing this for my main fabric, as well for my lining, right? And if you've seen any of my videos, you will know that first things first, once I'm pinning, the next step is actually doing a bust stitching. And a bust stitch is practically just a straight stitch with a higher stitch length. Since I haven't prepared yet, I forgot that I didn't prepare yet my thread, I'll stop just a moment the video and I'll come back once I've prepared my thread in my machine. Okay, so I've threaded my my sew machine, and just one sew machine, my normal sew machine. And I want to say that if you do not have a serger or an overlocker, you can also do this everything with your normal sew machine, using a zigzag stitch for after. But for the moment I'm doing a bust stitch with the highest stitch length. Like I said before, my fabric is really incredibly slippery, because because of this print which has. And once I'm done with the bust stitching, always first thing I'm doing is actually making these little cuts into my fabric. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm making these little cuts to allow stretch to my fabric. The bust stitching is actually its only job is to secure the two layers of fabric together. Afterwards you can make these little cuts into the fabric, or you can remove it, up to you. So I'm going to do now off camera the same thing for my lining. Once I'm done, I'll come back to show you the next step. Okay, so I've done the same two things to my lining and my main fabric, and now I'm going to serge it. Like I said, if you do not have a serger, you can always use zigzag stitch on your normal sew machine. And now I have a full back piece, right, a complete back piece. And the next step would be actually is to connect my my main front fabric with my main back fabric. And I actually want to connect it in the crotch area and in the sides area, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place it on top of each other, facing the right side of the fabric together. And then with my normal sew machine, I am doing a straight stitch over. I'm considering actually a bust stitching, because my main idea of this stitch is actually just to secure these two layers of fabric together. We'll be sewing 2 and 2, so there will be practically 4 layers of fabric together. So it's just easier for me if I divide it in 2. So like I said, I am going to do this now for my main fabric, and then I'm going to repeat to my lining. And then I'm going to show you how to connect the two fabrics together. Okay, so I've done the bust stitching onto the sides and in the crotch area, both for my main fabric as for my lining. And now we are going to connect these two parts together. So I'm taking my lining and I'm going to place it on top of my main fabric, and as you can see, everything is turned on the wrong side of the fabric. This is the wrong side of the fabric, that's the wrong side of the fabric. So I'm going to turn it on the wrong side of the fabric. I mean, I have it turned already on the wrong side of the fabric. So I place it on top of my main fabric. So as you can see, I have here a front piece, a back piece, another back piece, and then another front piece. So practically I'm sandwiching in between the two front pieces. I'm sandwiching the two back pieces, right? And now I'm going straight to my serger, and I'm going to serge actually over these 4 parts together, 4 layers together. If you wish, you can obviously pin and bust stitch first. I feel pretty confident today, so I'm going directly to serge it, and I'm going to repeat this with all other 2 parts, sorry. So the same, I am serging it directly and once more. And why I do this is to hide the seam so it's not visual on either of the sides. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that it's a technique which I use it often, and I prefer it instead of having like a bulky seam, let's say in between legs. I prefer to have it hidden. So that being said, all layers are serged together, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to separate my front pieces from my back pieces, so you can see the seam is hidden on both sides, both of the lining as for the main fabric. And what I'm going to do right now, I am going to bust stitch all along. So I'm going to bust stitch around the waist area, let's call it, and on the leg openings as well, because I want these two layers to be fixed together for when I'm going to attach my ruffles. Okay, so I've done the bust stitching on my bottoms, right? So this is already done, and the next thing would be actually attaching the ruffles. By the way, I want to say that the ruffles are completely optional. You can add just the side ones or the top ones, as you would prefer. I prefer now because I didn't want my white to be so dull. I wanted to add the pink, so I prefer obviously my ruffles to be both on the sides and on the sides and on the back piece, right, on the around the waist, right? And what I'm going to do, I am going to place, sorry, I keep switching. I'm going to place my ruffle on top of my main fabric. I will start with the front piece. I'm going to place it facing the right sides together, and I will be doing a bust stitching at the beginning. So I'll be doing a bust stitching, and afterwards when we will be doing a top stitch, obviously the ruffle will turn to the side. So I am not going to pin, but I did mark on my pattern where I want the ruffle to start. So I am going to start about in this area where I've marked already. And let me just say, this is quite a slow step, right? Because it's a bust stitch first. You want it secure for when you're going to add the elastic, and then you're going to top stitch it. So obviously it's easier if you have already the layers attached together. So what I'm going to do, practically, I just go with this ruffle all the way until the end, and I'll repeat the same thing on the other side doing the bust stitch. Okay, so I've added already the ruffles of my bottoms on my bottoms, and let me tell you how in love I am with this cute look. I've never done it like with ruffles like that to the side, but it's always a first, right? So yes, I have the ruffles added both in the back as the front, and now it's time to add elastic to my bottoms, and as well top stitching. So first thing I'm going to do, I have this transparent elastic. I don't want my I have rubber elastic and I have transparent elastic, but for these specific bottoms, I don't want my bottoms to feel like really snagging. I want that there is more elasticity, more stretch in my bottoms. It does pretty much, the transparent elastic does pretty much the same thing, but I want to say that maybe it's not so stiff as the rubber elastic. but since I have it on hand, I decided to use it. You can either use transparent elastic or rubber elastic, which one you choose. I'm attaching here with my hand. I'm guiding it, and the only thing I'm making sure, actually I'm making sure of a few things, but in between, on one of the most important things is not sewing over more layers than it should. So I make sure that none of my ruffles are getting in the way. So that is why I'm going quite slow, actually. And another thing, what I'm actually checking is that my fabric is not gathering too much or so. Sometimes it can do this with the transparent elastic, so I'm being careful and I'm checking it in case you would see it would happen. The only thing you'll have to do is guiding it a little bit with your finger, kind of like helping it to feed a little easier, right? So far so good. Nothing is gathering too much, and I am adding elastic. Perhaps I forgot to say, I'm adding elastic actually just on the leg openings, and very important detail, I'm adding it on the lining, right? So this is on the inside of the bottoms, right? It's not on the outside. So that being said, I will be continuing adding the elastic. Once I'm done, I will be obviously doing both leg openings. The upper part, leave it please unstitched, because obviously we will add the ruffles also for the upper part. But like I said, it's optional in case you do not feel like adding so many ruffles, or if you don't like it or something, you can always skip that step. Nevertheless, I will be showing both parts, and for the moment we are focusing on the leg openings. Okay, so I've added the elastic on my lining side, and it's looking so beautiful already. Now it's time to do a top stitch. I prefer to do the top stitch now and then add the other ruffle and the waistband. So if you do not have a cover stitch, you can always use your zigzag stitch on a normal sew machine. What I do, I practically fold the inside, I fold the edge of my seam, I fold it towards the inside, and I'm just placing it under my cover stitch, and I go ahead. So for a nicer look, I decided to cover stitch just with one needle, because I prefer a softer look, let's just say. And you see the when you will get here where the ruffle starts, practically the ruffle stays on the outside, right? We are not going to cover stitch it over, it stays outside. That's from the beginning the idea. And I try to go as close as I can to the edge, and in the same time I'm really feeling all the time that my seam is underneath, and that there's not too much bulkiness gathering or whatsoever. So I'm pulling with this left hand, I'm pulling the fabric, the white part towards me, and with the right one I'm making sure that the ruffles are not in the way, obviously. So that being said, I will repeat the same thing on the other side. And once I'm done, we will stitch the other ruffles, and then we will add the waistband. So first ruffles, then the waistband. Okay, so I have already done the top stitch for the front and back ruffles, and look how cute they look. Like, I'm so in love with this. And now actually the next thing we are going to do is adding the top ruffles. So I have the top ruffles already cut, right, in mirror. I wanted to have it nicely wavy, so I cut two in mirror rather than doing a big spiral. So that being said, I have to connect them together. So what I'm always doing, I actually do this just with my normal sew machine. So I do first like a bust stitching, where I'm practically just stitching them together, and then I do a normal straight stitch where I do a few back and forth to really secure. And from this I am trimming a little bit the edge, right? All right, so now I'm going to pin it already in one point, since I know that this center is going to be in the center of my back piece. So I'm pinning that, and then I will not pin all the rest, but I will mark the center of my front piece. So I'm just folding it like that in two. This is the beginning of my the center of my front piece, and this is where I will actually start. So like before, I am placing it under the my normal sew machine, and I'm doing the bust stitching, and I go all along in a circle until the end and back to the center. So I'm going to do this off camera. Once I'm done, I will make these little cuts into it, and this will allow stretch, and afterwards we're going to prepare the waistband. So I've sewn already as well the ruffles on the back part and as well on the front, and now we are going to add the waistband. This is the last step, and first thing I'm going to do is folding it in two and place facing right side of the fabric together, and I'm immediately stitching the side. And the next thing I am going to do, I am going to fold it into like this, and I'm going to pin all along the waistband, and I'm going to do first the bust stitching before I attach it to my bottoms. Optional, if you wish, you can add elastic. I just feel like my fabric is a little bit thicker, so elastic would probably make the band really thick, So I prefer not adding any elastic. But like I said, this is an optional step. um, if you wish to add elastic, I have made a lot of videos where I'm showing how to add elastic to the actually anti-buzz band, because I usually add it always in my tops, but actually almost never in the bottoms. Yeah, so I am going to do the bust stitching, and then I'm going to attach it to my bottoms. I will show it on camera how I do it. I will directly serge it once the bust stitching is done. Okay, so I've got the bust stitching done for my waistband, and now what I'm going to do, I am going to attach it to my bottoms, and I'm not going to pin it. Actually, I'm going directly to bust stitching it. I know you're gonna say again a bust stitching, but to be honest, I prefer the bust stitching in this particular case because this fabric is very slippery. So my serger could be slightly a problem with this slippery fabric and the ruffles. So what I'm going to do, I'm pretty going straight on bust stitching, and whilst I'm bust stitching, I'm going to slightly pull the waistband, as it's a little bit smaller than the rest of the bottoms. But once I bust stitched, I am going to attach it to my serger. I will be doing the rest of the thing off camera, since it's just a step which you've seen before, so I don't want to bore you. So like I said, I will repeat again: bust stitching, and then serging or zigzag stitching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please feel free to write me. If not, I wish you happy sewing.